yeah, I miss it.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. I mean, what got you into therapy in the first place? Because you've been at Nordoff for what, just over 7 years now.
Yeah.
Yes. What got you into that world of therapy and music at the same time? What really drew you into that world?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, my kind of background of growing up into work was around special needs and caring as a PA for people that needed sort of taking out for activities.
Mm.
Um, I had music A level and a psychology A level and a theatre studies A level. So like combine those three together and you sort of get music therapy and art therapy and drama therapy. So I feel like it was kind of written in the stars from that point. But you can't really do an undergrad. So I studied music at York and then looked into how I could develop it and went on to do the masters with Nordoff Robins, but it was at the Northern College of Music in Manchester.
Oh wow.
So it worked nicely being up in York and having the northern connections for a bit. And yeah, it's such a unique way of working,
Mm.
really. And actually, a lot of musicians still aren't fully aware of music therapy
Mm.
and the nature of how it works. And our approach is run by Paul Nordoff and Clive Robbins, who are the two people that put the kind of approach together, which is a creative, interactive, client-led. That's the main sort of point. Is we sort of take. I'm using inverted commas, which really is not going to be any good for people listening to this. But music, we sort of view music as someone's heart beating, or someone breathing, someone moving, and that embodiment rather than the finished product of music or
Mm.
commercialized music, which or commoditized music, which um, that we kind of have now. So therefore, if someone is, I like to use the word otherwise enabled rather than disabled, um, then they may see or view the world very differently to how we do, or can only move and not speak, or um, children with autism. That's the main area that I kind of work in. Feel isolated and lack eye contact and building relationships. So we kind of grasp those little nuances and building blocks of music, melody, rhythm, pitch, harmony, 3 time, 4 time dynamics, and try and create those connections. So the person we're working with might turn around and, oh, hang on a sec, that person's responding to what I'm doing, but they might not know it's music.
Yeah.
We kind of call it, and that's sort of a great experience to have actually. And it's there's not many of us. I don't think there's a few more of us now than there were sort of 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, do you feel like your work has got busier during the pandemic because of how beneficial music therapy actually is? I mean, do you feel like more people are coming to you now for help?
Um, I'd like to think so. Yeah, there's been a lot of publicity in general about music. I think that the main thing, one of the main stories I remember in Italy was the singers from the balconies. I'm sure you've seen
I
that
was
video.
just thinking about that now, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
So that sort of awareness that music brings people together, and hopefully it will come back in terms of festivals and everything else. But our work has always been music as the forefront, and whilst we've lost, well, I can't speak for the organisation necessarily. I think most partnerships are back beforehand, but definitely there's another avenue, or more than another avenue of online connections, and we've branched out into different ways of working and adapted to sort of do things slightly differently than we may have done beforehand. And I think we'll be busier. Well, we're still here and we're still
Yeah.
working. Uh,
Yeah.
I think everyone had a bit of a uncertainty whether, especially in the charity field, whether there was going to be enough fundraising and support for for those areas to survive. But thankfully, yeah, we've still got pathways to keep going.